welcome. As the opening card gently fades into soft darkness, allow yourself to settle deeply into comfort, letting the quiet of the evening envelope you like a warm, soothing blanket. Close your eyes, release any lingering thoughts or busyness of the day, and let your breath settle into a calm, steady, and completely effortless rhythm. In this peaceful stillness, we begin our calm journey far away to the high, majestic peaks of the Peruvian Andes, where ancient stone meets the vast open sky, and time itself seems to stand motionless. Imagine stepping onto a soft mountain trail wrapped in quiet solitude, where the crisp night air carries the subtle, grounding scent of damp earth, sweet pine, and verdant moss, inviting your body to relax completely and your mind to drift peacefully into rest. High above the winding waters of the Urubamba River, hidden among the sacred peaks of Peru, the ancient citadel of Machu Picchu rests softly in the quiet embrace of the mountains. Perched at an elevation of 2,430 meters within a high-altitude cloud forest, Machu Picchu gathers nightly mountain mist that condenses onto raw granite walls, nourishing over 400 wild orchid species nestled in stone crevices. Here, nature and ancient human mastery exist in complete, quiet harmony. As night deepens, the pale glow of moonlight touches the damp stone surfaces, making them glisten softly as delicate floral blooms cradle tiny droplets of water. Each gentle breath of cool mountain air carries the soft, soothing whisper of the cloud forest, gently rocking the legendary sanctuary in a calm slumber that has endured across centuries of quiet starlight. As you wander softly along the ancient stone pathways in your mind's eye, observe the magnificent precision with which every granite block was shaped, moved, and laid by hand. Massive stones, carved with immense patience and care, rest seamlessly against one another without mortar, aligned so perfectly as to mirror the gentle curves and grand contours of the surrounding mountain ranges. The towering ridges of Huayna Picchu and Machu Picchu Mountain stand as silent, noble guardians in the velvet darkness, their iconic silhouettes framing a brilliant expanse of stars floating high above. A gentle nocturnal breeze moves softly through the rich canopy, fluttering through fern leaves and across the smooth stone terraces that step down the mountainside like giant green stairways crafted long ago. Everything in this sacred place speaks of profound balance, enduring architectural harmony, and quiet wonder. There is no rush here, no noise, only the deep, undisturbed peace of the high Andes. Feel the heavy, comforting warmth of your body resting motionless as the soft melody of the mountain wind lulls you deeper and deeper into serene repose. The ancient sanctuary of stone sleeps beneath its vast canopy of constellations, timeless, peaceful, and untouched by the passing of hours. With every slow inhale and long, gentle exhale, you sink further into quiet relaxation, surrounded by the timeless beauty of stone, sky, and engineering, designed to endure for centuries. Rest now, as the soft mist continues its slow, silent dance across the ancient terraces, wrapping the mountain world in quiet, undisturbed slumber. High above the winding Urubamba River, where soft mountain mists drift lazily across emerald ridges, time seems to move to the slow and peaceful rhythm of the highland breeze. Here, nestled securely among the quiet, towering peaks of the Peruvian Andes, a sacred haven was carved from granite and sky to serve as a restful sanctuary, far removed from the bustling political center of Cusco. For many years, the precise origins of this magnificent mountain refuge were draped in legend. But modern scientific analysis has provided a clearer, calmer understanding of its true historical beginnings. AM's radiocarbon dating of bone collagen from burials across the citadel reveals that Machu Picchu was established around 1420 CE as a quiet royal estate for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti. Built during a time of expansion, this hilltop domain was designed not as a military fortress or a crowded urban hub, but as an elegant place of retreat, spiritual reflection, and quiet ceremony, positioned thoughtfully under the watchful gaze of the surrounding sacred mountains. In the gentle stillness of the cloud forest, the estate offered the emperor and his noble court a serene haven where the air was pure, mountain springs ran crystal clear, and the masterfully crafted stone architecture harmonized seamlessly with the dramatic natural contours of the earth. The community of people who tended this high sanctuary was as extraordinary as the architecture itself, brought together from the furthest corners of the vast Inca Empire to maintain the royal grounds, rather than being populated exclusively by local villagers from the neighboring valleys. The retainers who lived, worked, and walked along these terraced slopes carried the distinct histories of distant environments within their very bones and teeth. Multi-isotopic analysis of oxygen and strontium in human tooth enamel reveals that the royal retainers residing at Machu Picchu migrated from far across the empire, including the dry northern Peruvian coast and the high Lake Titicaca basin. The water they drank during childhood and the local foods they consumed left precise isotopic signatures permanently embedded within their tooth enamel, recording memories of warm coastal breezes or cold, windswept high-altitude plains long before they journeyed upward into the misty mountains. These dedicated keepers of the estate brought with them a tapestry of varied traditions, crafting techniques, and regional dialects, weaving the diverse cultures of Tahuantinsuyu into a shared, peaceful life upon the quiet ridge. As the golden light of late afternoon softens into dusk across the open granite plazas, the quiet legacy of these ancient inhabitants still lingers in the gentle mountain air. Weavers, stonemasons, agricultural specialists, and ceremonial retainers went about their daily routines with quiet care, their footsteps echoing softly along the narrow stone pathways and meticulously fitted staircases. They cultivated maize and native crops along the steep agricultural terraces, tended the cascading water channels that supplied fresh mountain runoff, and observed the slow movement of the constellations across the clear equatorial night sky. Though they had originated from contrasting landscapes, from the sun-bleached shores of the Pacific to the frigid shores of sacred highland lakes, they shared a common rhythm within this mountain retreat, bound by mutual purpose and the surrounding natural grandeur. As night gently settles over the citadel, the calm mountain breeze rustles softly through the stone doorways, offering a sense of timeless tranquility beneath the peaceful canopy of stars. High above the winding Urubamba River, where the towering green peaks of the Andes meet the soft, drifting moisture of the cloud forest, time moves with a slow and soothing cadence. For centuries, the granite sanctuary of Machu Picchu rested beneath a protective blanket of lush subtropical vegetation, nestled safely within the silent embrace of the surrounding mountains. The stone agricultural terraces, built with extraordinary craftsmanship by Inca masons generations earlier, clung effortlessly to the steep granite slopes, holding the dark, fertile earth secure against the persistent mountain rains. Though hidden from the sight of the world beyond the valley, the high ridge remained bathed in tranquility, a peaceful realm where the passage of time was marked only by the gentle arc of the sun and the silent arrival of evening fog. Here, suspended quietly between earth and sky, the air is clean and still, carrying the faint, comforting rustle of bamboo leaves and the distant whisper of water moving through the lush canyon far below. The surrounding mountains, known as Apis in the ancient Andean traditions, stand like giant guardians in the fading light, their rugged outlines softened by swirling veils of white vapor. As twilight settles over the valley, the granite structures absorb the remaining warmth of the afternoon sun, radiating a subtle, comforting heat into the cool evening air. Every wall and pathway within the citadel reflects a profound understanding of natural harmony, where human construction does not conquer the mountain, but rather blends seamlessly into its natural contours. The precision of the fitted stones allows rain to drain naturally through layered foundations of gravel and sand, preventing erosion and preserving the structural integrity of the site across hundreds of rainy seasons. In this serene atmosphere, the quiet wisdom of ancient engineering creates a feeling of absolute stability and quiet rest, inviting the mind to settle into deep peace. On a cool morning in the southern winter, a quiet journey brought this hidden sanctuary into the light of modern history. When explorer Hiram Bingham climbed the ridge on July 24, 1911, he was guided by local farmer Melchor Artiga to find two Quechua families, the Richards and Alvarezes, quietly living among the ruins and farming the ancient stone terraces. These families had cleared small patches of vegetation along the granite ledges, planting crops of corn, potatoes, and beans in the rich soil prepared by Inca agriculturalists long before. Their daily routines were simple and unhurried, representing a gentle, unbroken thread of traditional mountain life high above the rushing river. To them, the magnificent stone walls were not mysterious relics of a forgotten era, but familiar companions that provided sturdy shelter, windbreaks for their crops, and a peaceful home amidst the clouds. As the night deepens and stars begin to appear through the parting clouds, a stillness settles over the ancient mountain ridge. The stone terraces, which once yielded harvests under the care of both Inca farmers and their Quechua descendants, now rest silently in the dark. The gentle breeze moves softly across the open plazas and through the stone doorways, carrying a tranquil calm that fills the night. In this place of stone and sky, the past and present rest together in quiet harmony, untroubled by the rush of the modern world. The enduring granite remains steadfast and serene, wrapped in the cool night air of the Andes, inviting a deep and effortless sleep under the watchful presence of the silent mountains. High above the Urubamba River, where misty mountain clouds drift lazily across the emerald peaks, the landscape rests in a state of tranquil equilibrium. The night air is cool and still, carrying only the softest whisper of wind as it brushes past ancient, weathered stone surfaces. The citadel of Machu Picchu does not simply rest upon the mountain ridge. It belongs to it in the most literal sense, composed of the very rock that anchors the range to the earth beneath. Long before the first Inca stonemasons arrived to lay out sacred plazas and precise stone terraces, the geological foundation beneath this high sanctuary was undergoing a quiet transformation. Deep beneath the surface, under layers of soil, roots, and mountain vegetation, immense geological forces worked over vast spans of time to shape the local granite batholith. In doing so, nature was silently preparing the ground, laying out the raw elements of an architectural masterpiece long before human eyes ever looked upon this secluded high-altitude valley. The mountains seemed to wait in quiet patience, holding their ancient secrets within the stillness of the stone. At the heart of this structural miracle lies a remarkable geological secret hidden just below the surface soil. Machu Picchu sits directly atop the intersection of two major tectonic fault lines, forming an X shape across the mountain ridge, where subterranean forces pre-fractured the granite batholith into ready-to-use stone blocks. This extraordinary crossing of fault lines meant that the Inca builders were presented with a rare and miraculous gift from the earth itself. Rather than needing to quarry dense, unyielding granite from unbroken rock faces, using only rudimentary hand tools, the masons found that the subterranean stresses of the shifting crust had already done the heaviest labor. Millennia of subtle tectonic movement had cracked the massive batholith along crisp, natural plains, creating vast deposits of pre-cut, angular stone scattered right along the mountain crest. The builders did not need to force the rock to yield. They simply gathered the fragments shaped by planetary motion, moving through a ready-made stone field provided by the mountain itself. The stonemasons approached these pre-fractured blocks with profound respect, working in rhythm with the natural contours of the fractured landscape. Each stone carried the quiet memory of deep earth movements, its smooth edges and flat surfaces born from the slow pressure of subterranean faults. Instead of imposing an unnatural form upon the environment, the Inca craftsmen adjusted their designs to mirror the natural geometry of the ridge. They fitted the pre-divided granite blocks together with incredible patience, matching line to line until the structures seemed to grow organically out of the living bedrock. As the evening deepens and moonlight bathes the quiet terraces, a heavy calm settles over the ancient citadel. The mist glides gently through the stone doorways, wrapping the granite walls in a soft, protective embrace. Below the silence of the night, the deep tectonic lines beneath the mountain remain quietly at rest, holding the ridge steady under the starry Andean sky. Everything returns to a restful pause, surrounded by the timeless strength of stone pre-cut by the earth and placed with quiet care by human hands so long ago. High among the mist-draped peaks of the Peruvian Andes, a gentle rain often begins as a soft, rhythmic whisper across the granite slopes. The cool drops touch the polished stone of ancient terraces, slipping quietly from smooth masonry into the dark earth below. To gaze upon Machu Picchu is to marvel at the tall gables, fine doorways, and sweeping staircases that crest the ridge. Yet the true secret of its timeless endurance rests silently out of sight. Long before the first granite wall rose into the mountain sky, master Inca builders turned their focus downward, carving into the steep slopes and carefully preparing a foundation capable of braving centuries of torrential Andean weather. In this high cloud forest, where soft clouds brush against sacred peaks and heavy rains gather quickly, the stone sanctuary remains perfectly motionless, resting upon a vast and thoughtful foundation of subterranean craft. It is remarkable to consider that far more than half of the physical work required to build this mountain sanctuary was dedicated to structural elements hidden deep beneath the surface of the earth. Over 60% of the construction effort at Machu Picchu was performed underground, where Inca engineers layered gravel and crushed rock into a massive subsurface drainage system of 129 outlets that quietly channels mountain rainfall away. Beneath the lush green grass of every agricultural terrace, deep beds of loose stone were arranged with painstaking care. Coarse boulders formed the bottommost layer, covered by finer gravel and topped with rich, fertile soil. When tropical downpours sweep across the ridge, the water does not pool or wash away the steep mountainside. Instead, it sinks instantly into the permeable ground, flowing gently down through the stratified rock layers without leaving a trace of disturbance above. This hidden network acts as both a protective foundation and a silent water management system, ensuring that even the heaviest rainfall moves softly across the mountain's contours. The water meanders through hidden channels carved into the solid bedrock, passing through tiny stone conduits that guide the runoff toward carefully placed exit points along the lower terrace walls. As each stream trickles through the dark gravel filters, sediment is left behind, leaving the water clear and calm as it emerges down the mountain face. There is no rush, no destructive turbulence, only a steady, rhythmic percolation that protects the stability of every wall and palace overhead. The builders understood the character of granite and rain, crafting an architecture that did not fight the forces of nature, but welcomed them into a peaceful subterranean design. As dusk settles over the high pass, the sound of trickling water offers a soothing lullaby to the resting mountain landscape. The misty air grows cool and crisp, carrying the quiet hum of moisture moving through ancient stone channels deep beneath the earth. Above, the terraces lie dark and serene under the starlit sky, completely steady, held fast by the invisible foundation beneath them. Every drop of rain completes its silent journey, gliding through centuries-old gravel and slipping out into the night, leaving the ancient sanctuary in peaceful stillness until the morning sun touches the highest peaks. As twilight deepens over the high Andean peaks, a soft mist settles gently across the stone walls and terraced slopes of Machu Picchu. High above the winding Urubamba River, where cloud forest humidity meets the cool mountain air, the ancient builders understood that to preserve their sacred sanctuary against mountain downpours, water had to be managed with deep reverence and practical mastery. Every stone foundation was placed not only to bear weight, but to guide seasonal rainfall along peaceful, predictable pathways beneath and across the earth. Between the lush agricultural terraces and the central urban sector, the topography reflects a profound understanding of hydraulic balance and quiet protection, separating the agricultural terraces from the urban quarter. Inca engineers excavated a wide channel known as the dry moat to gather heavy rain runoff and redirect surface waters safely down the slope away from living spaces. This deep, stone-lined trench collected the swift surface water before it could gather destructive force, allowing torrential rains to drain harmlessly down the steep mountainside, sheltering residential homes from erosion, saturation, and landslides, and ensuring that daily life within the citadel remained dry, peaceful, and secure throughout the dampest rainy seasons. Beyond shielding the settlement from heavy storms, the Inca master builders crafted a remarkably soothing fresh water supply system to sustain the community year-round. High upon the lush granite slopes of the surrounding peaks, a natural mountain spring offered a continuous stream of pure water, calling for an architectural design that blended mathematical precision with elegant simplicity. A 749-meter stone canal built at a steady 3% gradient from a spring on Cerro Huayna feeds 16 carved granite fountains designed to maintain a gentle, continuous flow of water throughout the citadel. Each fountain was carved directly from solid granite blocks with exceptional detail, positioned in a sequential drop along the primary urban corridor, so that water flowing from the spout of one basin gathered softly before cascading into the next. The constant 3% incline was calculated with extraordinary care, maintaining just enough speed to prevent sediment from settling within the stone channel, while keeping the water's movement slow and peaceful, creating a faint, rhythmic murmur of trickling streams that echoed softly off the surrounding masonry walls. It is a soft sound that invites a restful pause, soothing the mind with the gentle cadence of nature and stone working in silent, timeless rhythm. In the quiet stillness of nightfall, one can easily imagine the serene atmosphere created by these liquid pathways flowing under a blanket of stars. The water traveled first to the royal residence before flowing onward down through the sacred sectors and domestic quarters, providing every neighborhood with convenient access to fresh mountain water. Every subterranean drain, surface channel, and outlet spout was integrated so seamlessly into the fine granite masonry that functional engineering was transformed into an enduring, peaceful work of art. The gentle sound of running water filled the cool night air, blending with the soft whisper of the breeze across the high grass terraces, and lulling the stone citadel into a calm, restive sleep. As darkness completely encompasses the surrounding mountain summits, the continuous stream flows steadily along its ancient stone path, carrying the quiet brilliance of Inca craftsmanship through the centuries and into the deep stillness of the resting night. High above the Urubamba River, where soft veils of mist drift lazily across the forested peaks, the terraced slopes of Machu Picchu stretch outward like giant steps carved into the mountain's emerald flank. As twilight deepens into night, a gentle rain often begins to fall upon the high ridge, cooling the granite and saturating the deep layers of mountain soil. In this damp climate, the earth absorbs vast amounts of water, swelling with moisture and pressing outward against anything built to contain it. For centuries, these precipitous slopes have borne the silent, heavy shift of soil after downpours. Yet the citadel's tiered landforms remain remarkably serene and unbroken. The mountain breathes quietly under the night sky, its sheer cliffs cradling terraces that have stood undisturbed through centuries of shifting seasons and quiet Andean rains, preserving the tranquil harmony between human craft and nature. The secret to this enduring tranquility lies in a subtle yet masterful understanding of physical forces. To counterbalance the immense lateral pressure of rain-soaked earth, Inca masons constructed the citadel's terrace retaining walls, leaning inward at a subtle incline of 3 to 5 degrees toward the hillside. By slanting the stone facades gently backward. The builders transformed the outward push of wet soil into a stabilizing force that presses down onto the foundation, binding stone and mountain into a single structure. Each block of gray granite, carefully shaped without mortar, rests against its neighbor with complete precision, accommodating slight earth movements while maintaining its deliberate angle of rest. This faint tilt creates a visually soothing rhythm across the mountainside, a soft series of lines that seem to bow in quiet reverence to the mountain peak behind them, beyond the visible surface of the inclined walls. A hidden internal structure works in quiet unison with the stonework to channel the mountain's abundant waters. Beneath the dark topsoil, the Inca engineers layered coarse sand, fine gravel, and larger fieldstones, creating a natural filtration bed that allows heavy rains to drain away softly without building destructive hydrostatic pressure. As water moves through these concealed stone layers, it trickles downward into unseen drains, whispering like a gentle brook buried beneath the grass. The terraces thus act as vast, silent sponges that absorb the storm's energy, slowing the flow of water and allowing it to return peacefully to the valley below. The air remains still and cool, filled with the faint scent of damp earth, while the hidden channels ensure that the ground above remains stable, firm, and undisturbed. As the night air grows still over the sacred valley, the terraces rest in complete silence, their stone faces reflecting the pale light of the stars. The slight inward incline of each retaining wall continues its silent work, holding the fertile soil securely against the ridge through the quiet hours of sleep. Masons from centuries past left no written manuals, yet their deep comprehension of stone, slope, and water speaks clearly through the peaceful stability of these ancient structures. Standing along the upper agricultural sector, one feels a gentle sense of balance and calm, as though the entire citadel is resting deeply, anchored to the heart of the Andes. The mountain holds its breath, the stones hold the earth, and the night settles softly over the timeless sanctuary of Machu Picchu. As daylight softens over the rugged ridges of the Peruvian Andes, the stone terraces of Machu Picchu descend into the quiet valley like giant green steps crafted seamlessly between earth and sky. Built along the steep, mist-shrouded flanks of the mountain ridge, these agricultural platforms represent far more than simple retaining walls. They are brilliant masterpieces of ecological design, carefully shaped to live in harmony with the shifting rhythms of high-altitude weather. High above, where the air moves crisp and cool from the distant snow-capped peaks, the upper terraces sit close to the open sky, catching the brilliant first rays of morning light. Further down the dramatic incline, the lower tiers plunge gracefully toward the humid contours of the Urubamba River, wrapped in soft forest vapors and sheltered from harsh mountain winds. Each massive wall, constructed with precision from dark granite cut by master Inca stonemasons, functions as a passive solar collector, absorbing sunlight throughout the long afternoon. The stone face holds onto warmth long after dusk. During the sunny hours, the heavy stones absorb heat from the sky, storing this gentle energy and radiating it slowly back into the dark topsoil through the cool mountain night. This continuous thermal warmth cradles the delicate root systems of growing crops, protecting them against the sharp, sudden drops in temperature that routinely sweep across the high Andean peaks. Across this vast vertical staircase, a quiet thermal tapestry reveals itself to anyone who follows the gentle movement of air up and down the slope. The 700-meter elevation difference across Machu Picchu's terrace system creates distinct agricultural microclimates with a temperature variance of nearly 5 degrees Celsius, allowing farmers to cultivate warmth-loving maize alongside cold-hardy Andean tubers. On the sun-drenched lower terraces, shielded from freezing night drafts, and bathed in the humid air drifting up from the cloud forest below, vibrant stalks of corn flourished in ambient warmth comparable to low-lying valleys. Meanwhile, on the higher, wind-braced steps, where the air remains sharp and thin, hardy crops like native potatoes, quinoa, and colorful oca thrived within the cooler soil. By thoughtfully altering the angle of wall inclination, the composition of the imported topsoil, and the choice of permeable subterranean layers, the Inca agriculturalists fine-tuned each individual platform to suit specific plant needs. Rainwater filtered gracefully through strata of crushed stone and river gravel, preventing destructive erosion while ensuring that every root system received exact hydration without ever becoming waterlogged. In this peaceful synthesis of human wisdom and natural geography, the mountain slope was transformed into an orderly, self-sustaining sanctuary of balance and abundance. The terraces did not seek to dominate the rugged terrain. Instead, they embraced its natural contour lines, turning a perilous precipice into a calm, fertile haven of enduring life and peaceful beauty. Today, as evening shadows lengthen across the quiet green plazas and stone stairways, the mountain air still carries the serene memory of those ancient fields. Soft mountain winds drift across the grassy tiers, rustling gently over weathered granite retaining stones that have stood firm through endless seasons across centuries. Here, high above the winding Silver River, stone, soil, and sky rest together in eternal harmony, offering a quiet space of peace as night falls gently over the sacred ridge. Along the high, misty folds of the Vilcanota mountain range, the early morning hours bring a profound, restful quiet to the ancient citadel of Machu Picchu. Before daylight fully fills the valley, a soft blanket of cloud forest vapor drifts gently across the stone steps, gathering in tender droplets upon the leaves and mountain soil. In these quiet moments before dawn, the high Andean air carries a crisp, still coolness that lingers over the sleeping granite structures. As morning quietly awakens the ridge, The thoughtful design of the Inca master builders begins its silent, daily harmony with nature. The agricultural terraces on Machu Picchu's eastern slopes were purposely angled toward the southeast, allowing the gentle first rays of morning sunlight to rapidly warm the mist-soaked soil after chilly cloud forest nights. This deliberate alignment was far more than a mere agricultural technique. It was an intimate, enduring conversation between human craftsmanship and the predictable path of the sun. The initial golden light spread smoothly across the curved stone retainers, gradually dissolving the lingering dampness of the night and bringing a soothing, balanced warmth to the tranquil terraced hillsides. Beneath the calm green surface of these rising platforms lies a sophisticated system of subsurface engineering created to nurture crops far above the winding river below. Layer by layer, with incredible patience and skill, the builders assembled a drainage and thermal matrix that would regulate temperature and moisture with quiet efficiency. The terrace walls are filled with topsoil brought up from the Urubamba River Valley over layers of sand and dark granite stones that trap heat during the day and softly radiate warmth to crop roots during cold, high-altitude nights. Rich, nutrient-dense earth was painstakingly gathered from the alluvial banks far below, carried up the steep mountain pathways in woven baskets, and laid carefully over coarse river sand and heavy foundation rocks. During the long, unhurried hours of afternoon sunshine, the dense granite stones absorb solar radiation deep within the structure. As twilight falls and the mountain air turns cool and crisp, this subterranean reservoir of stored energy gently releases its heat upward into the soil, keeping the delicate root networks safe, comfortable, and protected through the darkest hours. This seamless combination of orientation, soil selection, and thermal mass transformed the steep mountain slopes into a self-sustaining haven of life and quiet resilience. Beyond their practical agricultural purpose, the cascading stone terraces anchored the sheer hillside against heavy rains, preventing landslips while creating a peaceful, rhythmic landscape that stepped gracefully down toward the Urubamba River. Every single block of stone was placed with quiet intention, honoring the delicate balance between the mountain winds, the daily sun, and the nurturing earth. As the evening shadows stretch long and soft across the ridge, the quiet majesty of the Andes wraps around the ancient stones like a velvet blanket. Standing among these ancient terraces today, one can still feel the profound stillness of an environment designed to exist in complete harmony with the natural world. The gentle mountain air moves softly through the grass, carrying a slow, rhythmic whisper of timeless peace. As the citadel slumbers quietly between the grounding strength of the stone and the vast, tranquil expanse of the Andean sky. High above the Urubamba River, where the high mountain air moves in slow and silent currents, lies the central quarry of Machu Picchu. Here, amidst the gray slopes of granite, the ancient Inca builders worked in gentle harmony with the natural bedrock of the Andes. The afternoon light shifts gracefully across the split stone faces, casting soft shadows over the quiet threshold where mountain and monument merge. Long before the great citadel rose toward the clouds, this sacred slope was a sanctuary of careful observation and patient focus. Masons spent hours studying the intrinsic grain of the stone, listening to the subtle resonance of each natural fissure, and understanding how the massive rock wished to yield. There was no sense of hurry in their craft, no harsh clamor to interrupt the deep stillness of the surrounding peaks. Instead, every movement was guided by an enduring, tranquil patience, matching the steady and calming cadence of the mountain itself as twilight gradually approached. To shape the massive stones that formed the foundation of temples, royal dwellings, and agricultural terraces, the stonemasons relied on humble tools gathered from riverbeds far below. Archaeologists have uncovered hundreds of dense, river-smoothed quartzite hammerstones, known as hiwaya, in the central quarry, which craftsmen used to shape multi-ton granite blocks through countless rhythmic, precise taps. Held comfortably in the palm of a craftsman's hand, these rounded river stones possessed a high density that allowed them to microfracture the harder granite without shattering upon impact. Strike by gentle strike, tiny grains of stone dust drifted into the cool mountain breeze like soft gray mist. The masons worked with unhurried devotion, allowing the natural weight of the hammerstone and the steady memory of their hands to guide every soft blow. Over days and weeks, sharp, jagged edges gradually yielded to smooth facets, creating megalithic blocks so perfectly fitted together that no mortar would ever be needed to secure them. The repetitive tap of stone meeting stone echoed softly through the high pass, sounding less like heavy labor and more like a soothing rhythm whispered to the mountain. This gentle technique reflected a deep cultural commitment to living in effortless harmony with the natural world. The quarry was not merely a place of extraction, but a sacred space where human care rested softly upon the landscape. Every block was shaped with a thoughtful awareness of its ultimate resting place, destined to form a wall, a staircase, or a terrace that grew seamlessly from the living bedrock. Masons understood that true structural strength did not come from forcing granite with aggressive power, but from working alongside its natural grain until the stone revealed its ideal form. As evening deepens and mist settles across the high ridges, the central quarry returns to profound stillness. The partially shaped blocks remain resting comfortably in the soil, bathed in the cool blue hues of dusk, as though resting peacefully after centuries of watchful care. Each surface shaped by the hiwaya reflects the quiet mastery of builders who measured time not in fleeting hours, but in the timeless endurance of mountain granite. The ancient stones rest securely in the fading light, deeply rooted in the earth, held fast by gravity and quiet grace beneath the darkening sky. high above the terrace slopes, in the quiet heart of the citadel, where gray granite outcrops emerge from the mountain spine, lies the central quarry. Here, long before temples took shape or residential walls rose to meet the cloud-draped peaks, Inca stonecutters walked among the natural rock formations with an intimate understanding of the stone's internal character. Rather than striking the massive boulders with brute, exhausting force, these ancient masons chose a path of deep patience and careful observation, studying the subtle grains embedded within the granite over millions of years. The atmosphere in this elevated workspace was filled with a tranquil rhythm that moved in harmony with the surrounding landscape. As the cool evening air drifted down from the high passes, carrying the soft scent of damp moss and alpine soil, the stoneworkers prepared the raw granite for its transformation into the citadel's enduring structures. Preparing a massive rock for quarrying required a delicate balance of artistry, practical geometry, and physical science. The masons spent unhurried hours examining every surface, noting how sunlight fell across subtle fissures, and where the mountain had already begun to ease its own natural tension. Instead of attempting to break the granite through harsh impact, which could create unpredictable fractures and waste precious material, they harnessed the predictable expansion properties of simple natural elements. To harvest large granite blocks from the central quarry, Inca stonecutters chiseled rectangular grooves along natural fracture lines, inserted dry wooden wedges, and saturated them with water so the swelling wood would gently split the stone overnight. This silent interaction between dry timber, mountain water, and unyielding granite allowed the stone to yield smoothly along predetermined planes without damaging the surrounding rock. Through the quiet night hours, as the vast canopy of stars moved slowly above the silent terraces and misty peaks, the wooden wedges absorbed the moisture deep into their fibers as the cellular structures of the wood expanded with steady hydraulic pressure. They exerted an immensely powerful outward force along the entire length of the chiseled channel. By letting this gradual expansion perform the heavy labor while the citadel slept, the craftsmen preserved the structural integrity of every block. The separation of the granite occurred without heavy noise or violence, producing a clean, natural break that left the newly freed stone unblemished. When the masons returned in the early morning stillness, they found the massive monolith neatly detached from the bedrock, ready for the next stage of its long journey. Each freshly cleaved face revealed the inner quality of the granite, a cool, pale gray surface, untouched by iron tools, yet separated with remarkable precision and delicate grace. This technique of gentle persuasion reflected a foundational principle of Inca engineering, working in patient partnership with nature rather than attempting to conquer it. The newly harvested blocks would rest peacefully in the quarry before being shaped with hard stone hammers. and moved along earthen ramps to their final places in the citadel walls. As the morning mist slowly lifted from the Urubamba Valley below, revealing the winding river far below, the quarry returned to its restful calm, having yielded another magnificent stone that would stand for centuries in quiet harmony with the sky. As the mountain mist settles gently over the high peaks, a deep stillness descends upon the quiet passageways of the urban sector. The stone walls, carved from the very granite bones of the Andes, rest in timeless harmony with the surrounding clouds and soft mountain air. Walking slowly along these narrow walkways, the eye is drawn not only to the vast architectural sweep of the citadel, but to the gentle, subtle details embedded within the stone itself. Here, near the base of several prominent structures, the story of how these massive stones were placed begins to unfold with quiet clarity. Lower granite blocks across the urban sector retain smooth, rounded stone knobs protruding from their surfaces, which masons sculpted as temporary anchor points to gently lever multi-ton stones into position. These small, deliberate protrusions serve as quiet testaments to the methodical rhythm of ancient construction, left behind like calm, unspoken signatures of the master builder's handiwork. In the soft, fading light of evening, these knobs cast faint and comforting shadows against the weathered rock, reminding us of the careful, patient physical effort that brought this elevated sanctuary into being, block by carefully guided block, resting securely against the mountainside. Beyond these functional anchors lies an even deeper story of patience and refined craftsmanship written directly into the face of the ashlar masonry. Each massive block was shaped not through raw force, but through an intricate, deliberate process of fine refinement and careful fitting. Inca stonemasons polished the matching faces of ashlar granite blocks using fine quartz sand and water, achieving seam tolerances under 0.5 millimeter, so that not even a single blade of high-altitude grass could pass between them. This extraordinary level of precision created walls that seem almost seamless, as though sculpted from single, continuous ribbons of living mountain rock. Without mortar of any kind to bind them, the stones rest together with an innate, perfectly calculated balance, holding firm against the quiet passage of centuries and the subtle shifting of the earth beneath. The abrasive mixture of quartz sand and water ground away every tiny irregularity, turning friction into perfection with a steady, soothing cadence that must have echoed peacefully through the valley so long ago, softening every edge into absolute grace. Now only silence remains in those ancient courtyards, where the cool mountain breeze softly brushes past the polished granite edges. The remarkable fit of each stone creates a profound sense of stability and calm, holding the quiet memory of hands that labored with such focused care and reverence. To gaze upon these walls is to appreciate a rare vision of architecture, where utility, enduring strength, and artistic beauty exist in complete equilibrium with nature. The exact alignment of the ashlar masonry reflects a timeless philosophy of balance, where human intention aligns effortlessly with the natural weight and spirit of the earth. As twilight deepens across the high ridge and the first evening stars appear above the surrounding peaks, the citadel stands as a serene monument to patience. Wrapped in the cool, protective embrace of the Andes, softly inviting mind and body into a state of restful, tranquil quietude. As dusk descends softly across the high crests of the Peruvian Andes, a quiet stillness settles over the granite terraces and sacred enclosures of Machu Picchu. The surrounding peaks, wrapped in thin veils of translucent evening mist, stand like silent guardians above the winding Urubamba River far below. Down within the citadel, where the royal quarters and sacred temples rest, the last pale light of day catches the subtle, weathered variations of the stone surface. Here, ancient Inca stonemasons transformed raw mountain rock into smooth, architectural sanctuaries designed to endure across countless ages. To wander through these quiet spaces in the fading twilight is to experience a profound sense of harmony between human artistry and the natural contours of the earth. Every wall was raised without the use of mortar, relying instead on precise geometry, careful weight distribution, and an intimate understanding of granitic stone. The massive blocks fit together so closely that even after centuries of mountain rain, highland winds, and natural seismic movement, the joins remain tight and unbroken, echoing the patient, rhythmic craft of those who shaped them long ago. Moving slowly along the central plaza toward the highest residential compounds, one begins to notice the extraordinary care given to the structural vulnerabilities of corners and junctions. In traditional stone architecture, where two perpendicular walls meet, simple straight seams can become points of weakness under the stress of earth movement or thermal shifts. To overcome this challenge with quiet ingenuity at the corners of key royal structures, Inca stonemasons carved complex L-shaped granite blocks that wrapped around the outer edges, binding perpendicular walls together like interlocking puzzle pieces to maintain structural integrity. Crafting such intricate, curved right-angled stones demanded immense skill and steady dedication. As each block was gradually shaped using smaller handheld hammerstones made of dense river quartzite. By wrapping a single, continuous piece of carved granite seamlessly around the exterior corner, the builders effectively eliminated vulnerable vertical joints at the structural margins. This thoughtful design allowed the heavy walls to flex subtly during seismic activity, absorbing kinetic energy without separating, and ensuring that the royal chambers remained stable, grounded, and intact across generations. As night fully gathers over the citadel, a profound tranquility fills the cool mountain air, and the great stones rest silently in their timeless positions. The soft murmur of distant mountain streams drifts upward from the canyon floor, blending with the whisper of the evening breeze through the surrounding terraced grass. In this calm atmosphere, the intelligence of Inca masonry becomes a soothing testament to human harmony with the natural environment. Each carefully carved stone, balanced in quiet alignment with its neighbors, reflects an architecture designed not to conquer the earth, but to rest gently upon it. As the night deepens, the ancient mountain sanctuary remains enveloped in silence, bathed in soft starlight that reflects off the finely dressed granite. The seamless L-shaped corner blocks hold their peaceful watch beneath the vast canopy of stars, preserving the beauty and balance of these royal enclosures through the silent centuries. Here in the quiet high country, where stone and sky meet, the craftsmanship of the past offers a tranquil sanctuary for quiet contemplation, inviting a feeling of complete ease and deep restorative rest. As twilight begins to settle gently over the high mountain ridge, the quiet majesty of the Temple of the Sun reveals itself in soft shades of gray and gold. Built upon a natural outcrop of smooth bedrock, the curved wall of the temple cradles the contours of the mountain, merging human artistry with the living earth in quiet harmony. Here, high above the winding Urubamba River, the ancient Inca stonemasons set about their work, not with iron chisels or heavy machines, but with patience, observation, and simple tools crafted from river stone. Handheld hammers of dense, dark quartzite were used to painstakingly shape each mass of granite, chipping away fine particles until the surface matched its neighboring block with exquisite precision. The quiet rhythm of stone meeting stone echoed across the valley for months and years, driven by a deep understanding of weight, balance, and material. As you imagine walking along the terraced pathways in the gathering stillness, the cool mountain breeze carries away the heat of the day, leaving only the tranquil permanence of these carefully sculpted walls. Every edge is smoothed with care, every join planned to capture both the rising sun and the enduring spirit of the sacred landscape. The true marvel of this architecture lies not only in its visual elegance, but in how it lives in quiet conversation with the restless earth beneath it. Unlike structures bound by rigid mortar that can fracture under sudden tension, the unmortared granite blocks of the Temple of the Sun were shaped with stone hammers to fit so seamlessly that during earthquakes, they gently shift and settle back into place without breaking. This ingenious seismic design transforms the potential force of a subterranean shift into a soft, harmonic movement. As the ground sways, each finely fitted block moves slightly upon its neighbors, absorbing the energy through subtle friction before sliding back into perfect alignment once the motion subsides. There is a soothing comfort in realizing that the temple was crafted not to resist the earth through brute strength, but to yield to its breath and return safely to rest. Over hundreds of years, through countless tremors and the quiet passage of seasonal rains, These granite stones have maintained their precise joinery. The absence of mortar leaves no weakness for water to freeze or decay to take root, preserving the clean, flowing lines of the temple just as its creators intended. As darkness deepens and stars begin to blossom across the clear Andean sky, the Temple of the Sun rests quietly under the cosmic canopy. Through the carefully aligned trapezoidal windows, moonlight now streams across the inner sanctuary, casting long, peaceful shadows over the carved altar stone within. Everything in this sacred space feels deliberate, patient, and deeply attuned to the natural rhythms of the universe. The granite blocks, heavy and secure, keep their silent watch through the cool night, holding the warmth of the afternoon sun deep within their polished surfaces. In this high sanctuary, the passage of centuries feels very slow, like a gentle breath held over time. There is no rush here, no sound save for the whispering wind rustling through the mountain grass. As you drift into rest, you can feel the quiet strength of these unyielding stones, anchored deeply into the ancient mountain bedrock, remaining calm, balanced, and perfectly at peace under the vast starlit sky. As twilight settles over the high peaks of the Peruvian Andes, a quiet calm slowly descends upon the granite sanctuaries of Machu Picchu. The golden light of late afternoon softens into muted shades of indigo and pale violet, brushing gently against the towering gables that reach toward the darkening sky. Up here, where the mountain air moves in slow, rhythmic breaths across the Urubamba Valley below, the architectural wisdom of the Inca creates spaces of deep stillness. The massive stone walls, fitted together with exact precision, without a single drop of mortar, absorb the steady coolness of the evening, anchoring the citadel to the ancient bedrock beneath. High above the stone plazas and terraced slopes, the steeply pitched roofs stand gracefully against the mountain backdrop, designed to shed the heavy rains of the cloud forest while wrapping the interiors in a warm blanket of quiet protection. Looking closely at the upper edges of these noble structures, one begins to appreciate the subtle details crafted by ancient builders to harmonize with mountain elements. Along the high granite gables of royal buildings, Inca masons sculpted cylindrical stone pegs and circular ringstones to anchor wooden rafters, lashing down thick roofs of soft iku grass that hushed mountain winds. These carefully carved stone pegs, projecting outward from the smooth masonry like solid handles, allowed builders to bind heavy timber framing firmly to the stone structure with durable fiber cords. Over this sturdy wooden skeleton, thick layers of golden iku grass, harvested from high-altitude Andean meadows, were painstakingly laid and tied in place. The dense thatch served as an extraordinary natural insulator, muffling the turbulent gusts that swept across the narrow ridge, and transforming the rustle of high winds into a soft, comforting whisper that lulled the citadel to sleep. Inside these sheltered halls and private quarters, the atmosphere becomes remarkably serene and welcoming as night deepens over the estate. Seamless combination of thick, heat-retaining stone walls and heavy grass roofs created a protected microclimate of steady warmth, sheltering the royal court and attendants from the sudden drop in temperature that accompanies the high Andean night. As soft veil-like mists begin to trail gently through the surrounding peaks, wrapping the granite spires in shimmering silver ribbons, the thick thatch cushion absorbs all sound, softening the patter of evening moisture and the distant echo of rushing waters in the canyon below. Every element of the construction reflects an intimate, reverent understanding of nature's forces, using local earth, timber, and stone to craft a sanctuary of quiet comfort amidst the wild grandeur of the surrounding peaks. Outside, the stars begin to emerge one by one in the crisp, unpolluted night, casting a soft illumination across the thatched rooftops and polished stone terraces. The circular ringstones and sturdy granite gables hold their silent, timeless vigil, enduring gracefully through centuries of rain, wind, and sun as enduring monuments of engineering and ecological harmony. The entire citadel rests peacefully under the wide, starry celestial dome, bathed in the tranquil blue glow of the rising moon. In this elevated realm suspended between earth and sky, the air grows still and light, inviting a profound sense of restful quiet to settle over the ancient stone, the soft grass, and the sleeping world below. As dusk begins to settle over the high granite ridges, the air grows quiet and cool, wrapping the ancient mountain sanctuary in a soothing blanket of calm. High above the lush green canopy of the cloud forest, access to this high sanctuary was planned not with towering battlements or aggressive fortifications, but with a deep respect for the natural landscape and a philosophy of gentle, deliberate control. The mountain trails wind gracefully along the contours of the earth, following the natural ledges of stone, so that anyone approaching did so with measured, peaceful steps in total harmony with the terrain. To travel these high alpine ridges in the fading evening light is to feel a sense of profound stillness, where every footstep rests upon smooth, moss-covered rock, and the soft whisper of the mountain breeze carries through the valley far below, calming the mind and inviting peaceful rest. Along the sheer western cliff face of Machu Picchu, Inca engineers carved a narrow stone path above a 580-meter drop, leaving a 6-meter gap spanned by removable timber logs to form a silent, controlled mountain gateway. This delicate bridge offered an ingenious way to regulate passage into the citadel with complete tranquility, if ever the sanctuary needed to isolate itself from the surrounding region. The heavy timber logs could simply be lifted and drawn inward, leaving a wide, impassable divide across the sheer face of the living cliff. Walking along this ledge in the quiet light of late afternoon, one notices how seamlessly the carved stone path integrates into the vertical granite wall, as though it were shaped by centuries of wind and water rather than human hands. The immense drop below softly fades into the rising white mist of the Urubamba Valley, transforming what might otherwise be a dramatic precipice into a serene, cloud-draped curtain. It remains a masterwork of passive engineering, where protection was achieved without noise or confrontation, relying instead on the simple, graceful removal of wooden beams to let the mountain guard its own quiet peace. Moving further inward toward the central living areas, the main passage presents another layer of thoughtful craftsmanship designed to foster security and stillness. The main gateway into Machu Picchu features a stone ring carved above its trapezoidal doorway and a recessed slot in the granite threshold, forming a silent latching system where a heavy wooden bar rested in carved stone sockets. As twilight deepens across the stone terraces, this elegant mechanical design offers a comforting sense of shelter and quiet protection for everyone gathering within. The sturdy wooden beam could be slid smoothly into place across the doorway, held firmly by the integrated stone ring and recessed floor slot without requiring a single piece of metal. Through the beautifully proportioned trapezoidal portal, framed by massive blocks of carefully fitted granite, the inner courtyards rest under the emerging night sky. The stone walls, sloped gently inward to absorb the subtle movements of the earth, cradle the interior spaces in a timeless, secure embrace. Outside, bright stars begin to glow above the dark silhouette of Huayna Picchu, while inside, the cool mountain air rests still, guiding you into a deep, uninterrupted sleep. As the soft light of dawn begins to touch the high crests of the Andes, a quiet stillness rests over the ancient sanctuary of Machu Picchu. High above the winding Urubamba River, the air is crisp, cool, and filled with a gentle calm that seems to suspend time itself. Upon the elevated terrace of the sacred plaza, gray granite structures stand in patient silence, bathed in the soft blue hues of early morning. Inca stonemasons crafted these walls with a meditative precision, working with the natural grain of the stone rather than forcing it into rigid shapes. Every block was patiently shaped, smoothed, and settled onto its bed of bedrock, creating an architectural harmony that feels as old and enduring as the mountains themselves. There are no harsh lines here, only smooth surfaces and precise seams that have weathered centuries of mountain rains without shifting. As the sky brightens, the quiet atmosphere invites a deep sense of peace, as though the mountain itself is breathing slowly in the early light. The vast open plaza sits peacefully at the center of the citadel, a place designed for quiet contemplation where the earth meets the sky. Anchored to the sacred plaza, the Temple of the Three Windows was built from massive granite blocks fitted around three large trapezoidal openings that frame the quiet morning sunrise over the Urubamba Valley. These grand stone apertures, crafted with characteristic Inca geometry, taper gently toward the top to absorb seismic tremors and distribute weight with remarkable grace. Each colossal block of pale gray granite was carved with stone hammers and carefully settled into place without mortar, forming a seamless structure that glows softly under the first rays of dawn. Through these three broad openings, the morning light pours into the temple interior, casting long, gentle shadows across the stone floor and illuminating the fine craftsmanship of the rear wall. The windows do not merely allow light to enter, they act as living frames, capturing the vista of mist-covered peaks, green slopes, and the distant river threading quietly through the canyon below. Standing before them, one observes how the built environment dissolves into the natural landscape, connecting the sacred architecture directly to the rising sun and the quiet majesty of the valley. As the morning unfolds, the soft warmth of the sun begins to dissipate the lingering mountain mists, revealing the extraordinary depth of the surrounding landscape. The quiet murmur of the river below rises only as a faint, rhythmic whisper, blending with the gentle breeze that rustles softly through the high alpine grasses. Every element of this stone sanctuary reflects a profound understanding of natural balance, where human ingenuity worked in quiet partnership with the forces of nature. The massive granite foundations reach deep into bedrock, ensuring stability while allowing the structure to rest peacefully alongside the mountain. Looking out through the quiet stone windows, the mind naturally settles into a calm, unhurried rhythm, mirroring the slow shift of light across the valley floor. The great peaks stand as silent guardians around the plaza, wrapped in soft morning light and drifting cloud. In this peaceful haven high above the valley, the strength of granite and the quiet open sky remain joined in tranquility, offering a restful refuge where thoughts can softly drift away. As early dawn touches the high, silent peaks of the Peruvian Andes, a deep and quiet stillness settles over the ancient stone sanctuary of Machu Picchu. High above the winding Urubamba River, where white water carved its path through steep granite canyons over eons, the morning air is crisp, clear, and cool. It carries the faint, soothing scent of mountain mist drifting off the dense cloud forest and the damp freshness of dew-laden grass covering the broad agricultural terraces. In the sacred center of the sanctuary stands the Temple of the Sun, known as the Torion, its magnificent curved wall of pale granite rising seamlessly out of the living bedrock below. The Inca master masons shaped these massive blocks of stone to fit together with breathtaking precision, polishing every joint so tightly that not even a blade of grass could slip between them. They built without mortar, allowing the vast stone structure to absorb the subtle movements of the earth and rest quietly across the centuries. In the final soft twilight before the sun appears, the brilliant stars of the southern sky begin to fade, leaving only the tranquil silhouettes of the surrounding mountain peaks against the velvet gray of dawn. The entire citadel slumbers peacefully, waiting for the first light to awaken the stone facades. When the sun completes its northernmost journey across the sky, arriving at the crisp dawn of the June solstice, the first warm rays break softly over the eastern mountain ridge. A single golden beam of light pierces the cool mountain air, traveling gracefully across the open plaza toward the curved tower of the temple. At this precise moment, sunlight passes through a trapezoidal window in the Temple of the Sun to cast a precise rectangular beam across a carved granite bedrock altar aligned with the Pleiades constellation. This delicate patch of light brings the cosmic rhythm of the heavens directly into the cool sanctuary of stone, marking the winter solstice, the turn of the agricultural year, and the traditional time for reflection and renewal. The alignment connected the movement of the distant stars with the physical foundation of the mountain, grounding Inca astronomy in the sacred landscape. For several quiet minutes, the luminous rectangle rests motionless upon the smooth, dark granite, illuminating the natural grain of the stone with a soft, amber glow before slowly beginning its slow movement across the floor. This quiet harmony between human architecture and celestial movements creates an atmosphere of timeless peace that permeates every corner of the mountain city. Just below the temple walls, crystal clear water glides smoothly through narrow, hand-carved stone channels, its soft, rhythmic trickle echoing through the silent courtyards like a comforting lullaby. The Inca engineers possessed a deep understanding of structural balance and environmental harmony, choosing not to reshape the rugged peaks, but rather to follow their natural lines and contours, so that every wall, step, and terrace feels like a natural outgrowth of the granite below. As the morning sun rises higher into the vast, open sky, the cool mountain breezes soften, and the lingering shadows retreat gently into the seams of the ancient stonework. A gentle, reassuring warmth spreads over the stone plazas, filling the quiet space between the earth and the clouds. In this mountain sanctuary, anchored securely to the bedrock and open to the endless sky, everything rests in perfect, motionless equilibrium. As twilight slowly begins to soften the sharp, majestic outlines of the surrounding Andean peaks, a deep stillness settles over the high granite citadel, where ancient Inca stonemasons once observed the subtle dance between earth and sky. Here, elevated far above the winding green waters of the Urubamba River, the stones were not merely stacked to construct shelters, but were sculpted with profound intention and reverence to mirror the silent rhythms of the cosmos. Every passageway and bedrock surface reflects a delicate dialogue with the heavens, engineered so seamlessly that the natural mountain rock and human artistry become one continuous landscape. Deep within this sacred precinct, tucked inside the Intihuatana cave structure, Inca stonemasons carved a single narrow window aligned, so that morning light enters for only 10 days around the December solstice, quietly illuminating the granite chamber. those brief, quiet mornings of the southern midsummer, the golden rays slice cleanly through the cool, shadowy interior, touching the carefully dressed rock face with a gentle glow before receding back into the shadows. This subtle interplay of light and shade speaks to a remarkably patient understanding of seasonal cycles, turning raw stone into an enduring clock that marks the return of the sun without disturbing the tranquil atmosphere of the sanctuary. Ascending gently upward along the terraced stone stairways, the cool air carries the faint, comforting whisper of alpine breezes moving through the surrounding trees. At the highest point of the sacred ridge stands one of the citadel's most revered astronomical masterpieces, sculpted directly from the living granite bedrock of the mountain summit. The carved granite Intihuatana stone features a central pillar sculpted at an inclination of 13 degrees to match Machu Picchu's latitude, casting no shadow at solar noon on the spring and autumn equinoxes. Often described as a hitching post for the sun, this extraordinary structure served as a symbolic anchor, connecting the earthly realm to the infinite sky above. On those balanced days of the equinox, when the sun reaches its absolute peak in the sky, the cast shadow completely disappears into the base of the stone, creating a quiet moment where geometry, geography, and astronomy align in perfect stillness. The precise angle of the central pillar demonstrates an intimate knowledge of planetary mechanics, translated into an enduring form of quiet beauty that has withstood centuries of changing mountain weather. In the restful calm of dusk, as darkness slowly spreads across the granite plazas and terraced slopes, the quiet harmony of Machu Picchu invites a deep sense of peaceful reflection. The Inca builders did not seek to conquer their environment, but rather to listen closely to its subtle rhythms, capturing light and alignment with incredible reverence through the careful shaping of cave openings and the deliberate carving of stone summits. They transformed their physical world into a calm sanctuary of celestial order. As night falls over the Andean peaks and the first evening stars begin to glimmer above the shadowy outline of Huayna Picchu, the cool stone retains the day's warmth, resting peacefully under the vast cosmos. The gentle wisdom carved into these stones remains quietly present, offering a tranquil space to let go of the day, resting in the quiet wonder of the universe. As dusk settles over the high ridge of Machu Picchu, a quiet stillness descends upon the granite stone terraces and open plazas. Moving gently toward the northern boundary of the citadel, the surrounding peaks begin to soften beneath the evening veil, their dark outlines framing the sacred valley below. The Inca stonemasons possessed a deep, reverent understanding of the landscape, viewing the mountains, the sacred apis, not merely as natural backdrops, but as living guardians that shaped their daily lives and spiritual vision. Every wall laid and every stone carved within this sanctuary was positioned with intentional harmony, echoing the contours of the earth and paying homage to the natural world. Here, where the mountain air blows cool and mild, the boundary between human architecture and the wild majesty of the Andes grows wonderfully blurred. Walkways of smooth granite guide travelers softly across the upper terraces, where the whispers of mountain breezes rustle through the native grasses, creating a soothing, steady rhythm that invites quiet contemplation. In this peaceful realm high above the meandering Urubamba River, the ancient builders sought not to dominate the peaks, but to integrate their masonry so seamlessly that the citadel felt like an organic extension of the granite ridge itself. At the northern edge of the citadel, where the open plaza meets the edge of the forest, stands one of the most remarkable artistic and spiritual expressions of Inca stonemasonry and engineering. Here, set thoughtfully upon a low stone platform, sits a sacred granite monument shaped by master craftspeople centuries ago. At the northern edge of the citadel, the 3-meter-high monolith known as the Sacred Rock was sculpted, so its top contour precisely mirrors the silhouette of Mount Yanantin rising directly behind it. This subtle and magnificent feat of stonecraft created a direct, meaningful visual dialogue between the hand-carved monolith and the revered mountain peak. By replicating the mountain's natural skyline in solid granite, the builders established a symbolic bridge connecting the immediate human space of the sanctuary with the vast, majestic realm of the surrounding Andes. The smooth curves and subtle slopes of the rock's carved crest capture the exact rise and fall of the distant summit, demonstrating an extraordinary mastery of spatial geometry, sightlines, and artistic devotion. As night approaches, the shadows cast across the sacred rock deepen, enhancing the quiet dignity of its sculpted profile against the darkening sky. Standing gently before this monument, one can sense the calm intentionality that guided every tap of the stone hammers so long ago. The surrounding plaza rests in peaceful silence, framed by neat masonry and the soft, dark backdrop of the cloud forest. The cool air grows still, carrying the faint, comforting scent of wet stone, earth, and leaves, while the first stars begin their gradual emergence above the mountain ridge. There is a deep, tranquil comfort in knowing that despite the passage of endless centuries, this carved monolith continues its silent vigil, forever aligned with Mount Yanantin across space and time. The harmony forged between human hands and the natural contours of the surrounding earth provides a sense of enduring stillness, inviting a restful silence to settle over the ancient citadel and gently guide the mind towards sleep. As twilight descends gently across the sacred valley, the shadows lengthen along the terraces of Machu Picchu, casting peaceful stillness over the ancient stones. The air grows cool, carrying the faint scent of mountain grass and quiet earth down from surrounding peaks. In the fading light, granite structures seem to yield their sharp edges, resting naturally against the contours of the ridge as if they had grown from the bedrock itself. The architects of the Inca did not merely build upon the land, they listened to its contours, honoring every crease and slope with quiet reverence. In the lower urban sector, where daily life once hummed with rhythmic purpose, evening quiet settles like a soft blanket. Pathways carved from living stone invite a restful journey, leading past quiet enclosures and smooth thresholds where centuries of rainwater have smoothed the granite paths. Here, boundaries between natural geology and human artistry dissolve into a seamless landscape of stone and sky. Each wall stands in harmony with the mountain, absorbing cool night air while preserving the warmth of afternoon sun. Listening closely, one can almost hear the soft whisper of wind rustling through high grass, lulling the citadel into deep, restorative peace. Moving further into the serenity of this lower district, craftsmanship becomes an intimate dialogue between mountain earth and sacred form. Here, among quiet walls, ancient builders recognized a subtle majesty hidden within natural rock. In the citadel's lower urban sector, stonemasons sculpted the temple of the Condor by joining two massive, naturally flared granite outcrops with a floor bedrock stone carved into a bird's head and beak, resting its wings against the quiet mountain earth. The flared stone wings rise upward with remarkable grace, echoing the expansive wingspan of the Andean condor as it glides effortlessly across thermal currents high above the cloud forest. Beneath these stone wings, a subtle groove in the bedrock ground shapes the head and collar of the bird, creating an enduring sanctuary where sacred symbolism and raw mountain stone exist as one. For the Inca, the condor was a messenger of the upper world, a gentle traveler bridging the earthly realm with the expanse of the sky. To behold this sculpture resting in fading light is to feel a profound sense of grounded harmony, where stone does not strive against nature, but instead rests completely within its gentle embrace. As night deepens, a profound quiet envelops the temple of the Condor and surrounding stone chambers. Stars emerge slowly above the silhouette of Intihuatana, casting a soft radiance over the quiet plazas. Everything here seems suspended in timeless rest, as though the mountains themselves are breathing in slow, peaceful rhythms. The stone wings of the condor remain forever outstretched, offering a silent sanctuary of calm to the night air. There is no urgency in this space, only the slow passage of hours and the reassuring presence of the Andes. Every surface of polished granite holds a quiet memory of balance. As you drift into rest, let your mind settle into the stability of these ancient foundations. Like the stone bird resting its wings upon the earth, allow yourself to let go of the day, sinking into a calm slumber beneath the quiet canopy of the Andean sky. As dusk gently settles across the high and majestic Andean ridge, the vibrant light of the afternoon slowly fades into a deep, serene twilight. A cool cool and gentle breeze moves through the finely carved stone doorways of the sanctuary, whispering soft melodies across the terraces and granite plazas. High above the valley floor, the surrounding peaks stand like quiet sentinels wrapped in the soft velvet of evening shadows. As the sun dips beneath the western horizon, the vast sky above Machu Picchu transforms into a boundless canvas of dark violet and indigo, gradually illuminating with the delicate, shimmering light of countless distant stars. In the quiet and sacred heart of the urban sector, the rush of daily activities gives way to a profound and soothing stillness. The cool mountain air carries a sense of timeless peace, inviting deep rest as the night deepens over the ancient stone architecture. Everything moves at a slower, comforting pace, echoing the steady and enduring rhythm of the mountain foundations below, where earth, stone, and sky quietly prepare for slumber. Within one of the peaceful stone enclosures of the urban sector, two smooth circular basins carved directly into a granite floor were filled with still water to serve as sky mirrors, allowing astronomers to comfortably track the night movements of the moon and stars in their peaceful reflections. This ingenious yet wonderfully calm method allowed the Inca observers to study the cosmos without straining their eyes or constantly craning their necks against the vast, dark sky above. The still, dark liquid held within the polished stone vessels acted as a perfect, undisturbed lens, capturing the slow journey of the constellations as they drifted gracefully across the celestial sphere. As the silver moonlight bathed the quiet stone room, the soft shimmer on the water's surface brought the high heavens down to earth in a gentle, accessible glow. In this serene space, the study of the stars was an act of quiet meditation, where human curiosity met the silent majesty of the universe. The luminous ribbon of the Milky Way, known to the Incas as the sacred celestial river Mayu, flowed softly across the surface of the basins, linking the terrestrial realm of carved stone with the eternal paths of the heavens. As the night progresses, the quiet harmony between stone, water, and sky creates a lasting atmosphere of profound calm throughout the entire sanctuary. The precise craftsmanship of the circular basins reflects not only an advanced understanding of geometry and celestial mechanics, but also a deep reverence for the cycles of the natural world. Each star reflected in the shallow water seems to rest comfortably in its place, anchoring the cosmic order into the very floor of the mountain city. The subtle rippling of air across the water mirrors eventually subsides into total stillness, leaving a pristine image of the night sky framed by timeless granite. Here in the high altitude of the Andes, where the air is pure and quiet, the gentle watching of the stars becomes a soothing lullaby carried on the cool night wind. The ancient stones hold the lingering warmth of the day, while the peaceful waters hold the quiet light of the cosmos, wrapping the entire mountain ridge in a blanket of peaceful, restorative rest. as twilight settles gently over the stone terraces of Machu Picchu. The quiet of the high Andes enfolds the ancient sanctuary in soft, cool shades of indigo, velvet, and slate. The granite walls, crafted with such precise care by master masons long ago, absorb the lingering warmth of the afternoon sun and release it slowly into the darkening evening air. Far below in the valley canyon, the Urubamba River hums its constant, soothing song, a rhythmic murmur echoing upward through the granite cliffs to meet the serene mountain breeze. The citadel gradually yields to the tranquil stillness of the night, resting under the immense vault of the heavens, where distant horizons merge softly with the dark silhouettes of sacred peaks. The atmosphere grows crisp and remarkably clear, unveiling a breathtaking expanse of stars that has watched over these peaceful, enduring stones for uncounted generations. In these quiet hours, when the mountain air turns exceptionally still and transparent, the night sky reveals its subtle alignment to those who gaze upward from the central plazas. During clear nights in the Andean rainy season, the 4 bright stars of the Southern Cross constellation reach their highest point directly above the snowy 6,271-meter peak of Mount Salcantay, as seen from the citadel. This tranquil alignment between the starry cross and the majestic icy summit offered a natural, enduring celestial marker for the Inca skywatchers, seamlessly bridging the granite foundations of the earth with the highest reaches of the firmament. Mount Salcantay stood as a silent, sacred guardian in the dark, its snowy ridges glistening softly beneath the starlight, grounding the infinite vastness of the cosmos within the familiar landscape of the Andes. The Inca understanding of the heavens was unique, rooted in a profound appreciation for both the brilliant lights and the deep, mysterious shadows of space. Rather than connecting individual stars into bright geometric outlines, Inca astronomers at Machu Picchu mapped the dark dust lanes of the Milky Way, identifying celestial shadow shapes like Yakana the llama resting quietly against the starry night sky. Spanning across the great cosmic river known as Mayu, these dark cloud constellations formed a gentle, familiar tapestry of living silhouettes in the night sky. Yakana seemed to rest peacefully along the glowing interstellar stream, her dark form framed by the soft luminescence of millions of distant suns, bringing a sense of comfort, protection, and quiet companionship to the stillness of the night. As the night deepens and the hours drift slowly past, the cosmic expanse rotates with a smooth, effortless grace above the sleeping stone city. The ancient walls remain cool and steadfast, holding the quiet memory of generations who once stood upon these elevated terraces to observe the eternal movements of the universe. Every stone, terrace, and plaza within the mountain citadel feels gently suspended in time, wrapped in the protective calm of the surrounding peaks and the timeless melody of the night wind. Here, high above the world in this sacred meeting place of stone and sky. Everything rests in perfect, quiet harmony, inviting the mind to let go of the day and settle into a deep, uninterrupted peace. As twilight deepens across the high granite ridges, the last subtle gleams of sunlight recede from the upper terraces, inviting an enduring stillness to settle over the ancient stone city. On the lower slopes, far below the main agricultural plazas, narrow footpaths soften into darkness where cool mountain air flows in a gentle, steady cadence, tucked deep inside a natural granite cavern on the quiet flank of Cerro Huayna the temple of the moon houses, polished ashlar niches carved into raw mountain bedrock that rest in perpetual shadow. Within this secluded subterranean chamber, beneath the immense weight of the living peak, the distinction between raw geology and human artistry gently dissolves into quiet mystery. The meticulous precision of the fitted stones feels less like an assertion of dominance and more like a reverent, silent dialogue with the earth, creating an enduring sanctuary where peaceful silence has remained undisturbed across centuries. In this serene atmosphere, the legendary engineering of the Inca reveals its final, softest truth to the quiet observer. Across the steep inclines and terraced amphitheaters, every subterranean drainage channel, mortarless joint, and carefully angled block was crafted with a profound understanding of natural forces. The master builders did not attempt to conquer the rugged topography, but instead sought to seamlessly integrate their architecture into the mountain's pre-existing contours. They allowed mountain runoff, wind currents, and celestial rays to move in unhurried harmony with the stone walls. As evening spreads across the deep Urubamba Valley far below, the majestic surrounding peaks stand as timeless guardians over a landscape defined by balance and structural grace. The ancient granite blocks gently release the subtle warmth gathered from the afternoon sun, slowly surrendering their ambient heat to the crisp alpine night. As darkness gradually enfolds the sanctuary, the vast sky above becomes a clear canopy of emerging stars, tracing the ancient constellations that guided the city's seasonal rhythms. The nocturnal air grows still, carrying only the softest rustle of wind through the high-altitude grasses that frame the stone stairways. Below, a soft veil of mountain mist ascends gently from the lush cloud forest, wrapping the lower terrace walls in a luminous, pillowy cloud. This damp atmosphere muffles every faint murmur of the night, smoothing the sharp edges of the masonry and wrapping the entire citadel in a protective, blanketed calm. Here, high above the world, time seems to stretch out into a restful continuum, where past and present rest side by side in quiet contentment. Now, with the citadel resting in complete stillness under the cosmic canopy, all remaining motion yields to a deep and tranquil repose. The mountain breathes slowly, holding in its quiet core the memory of stone carvers who shaped the bedrock astronomers who measured the solstices, and generations who lived in thoughtful balance with the high Andes. There are no more stones to lay, no more channels to align, and no more measurements to calculate. Only the profound, enduring stillness of a sacred refuge that has achieved absolute harmony with its environment. Let your mind ease into this silent rhythm, relaxing as comfortably as the heavy granite foundations anchored deep within the earth. As the quiet night enfolds Machu Picchu in eternal peace, allow yourself to drift into a soft, restful sleep.